Here's a brief walkthrough of how to find really high value domains for a good price. I built this tool called findmedomains.com that aggregates all these domains that are going to auction on GoDaddy, and then it pulls in relevant information regarding all those domains. So the way I like to do it is I like to come in here and use some of these filters. There's two main ones that I like to use. It's Majestic Trust Flow and Majestic Citation Flow. The reason why these are important, they measure basically how trusted a domain is. So Trust Flow score is given to a website based off of how many backlinks it has, but also like the value of those backlinks. So for instance, like Google, Facebook, Amazon, these are sites that have like a lot of domain authority, and a backlink from one of those sites would have like a higher weight to the trust flow. Domain links from maybe like an edu website would also increase the trust flow score of a domain. So trust flow is very important. If it has a high trust flow score, then it's like a pretty good domain that has a lot of SEO value to search engines. Citation flow is also pretty good. I lean on it a little bit less than trust flow, just because citation flow is like pretty correlated with how many backlinks a website has. So I kind of like to look at both of those things. So what I do usually is I come in here and I go for like a minimum maybe of like 20 for trust flow, and then we'll also just say 20 for citation flow. You can see that that already filtered down 10,000 domains to 95. So I'm also going to come in here and I'm just going to lower the price to 100. I don't want to bid on anything that's already over $100. So that like cuts down the number of domains to quite a bit. I can filter through these and kind of like look at which ones look good. Just like the ones that catch my eyes, I'll kind of like look into. And some of these, right, like I would never buy, like Trace Studio Blog. It has like a really high value, but like I just have no interest in that. I like to look for domains that I actually like think, oh, I could like build a cool website on this. One of these is like recycles.org. And then I can show you the next phase of this, what I like to do. I usually take the domain and I'll go back to the Wayback Machine, so webarchive.org, put in the domain, and then go back to like when the domain was like really just firing, when they had like a lot of pages that were being indexed. So in this case, I went to like 2012, and then I took a screenshot of one of these archive pages, and it's just like a classic like 2012 website. And it looks like it was like a recycling organization. So if I were to rebuild this website, I would probably want to just make it like informational about recycling, benefits of recycling, things like that. But what I sometimes like, what you can do with these old domains is you can actually like remake the content that was on the site and then gain some of that SEO value back, at least in the short run, while you're like building out a better website. And one really cool way to do that is just take a screenshot of it and then feed it to a tool like V0. V0 is an AI code tool from Vercel, which is a deployment platform, like web infrastructure platform. And this is like within like 3 prompts. It created like a modern website based off of the screenshot. It initially like matched the old website. I told it to like modernize it. And so in the meantime, like I could spin up a website without building, like writing any code. I could one-click deploy, and then maybe have it indexed by Google and then gain some of that value back as I'm starting to like rebuild this website. And so you can kind of like see this workflow of finding old domains and then rebuilding them and kind of getting some of that value back. But I guess I should say, like, most importantly, this is just a really good tool for like finding domains that are honestly like worth quite a bit of money or could be worth quite a bit of money, but that you get for like a really good value. And there's like so many in here. These standards of like minimum 20 trust flows like pretty high, like, but you could also just go and look at different domains. I added like a natural language query search in here, so I could come in here and say like I want to see everything from sports, or maybe like more specifically, let's see anything like related to basketball. Doesn't look like there's a lot, but I pulled in stuff for basket, Maverick softball, things like that. So there's just like a lot of really good like 1-word, 2-word domains in here that you can find, especially .com domains that you wouldn't be able to get otherwise, right? Because these are up for auction, so they expired or they're pretty high value.